This morning, on a live phone call with NBC News anchor Kristen Welker, Donald Trump said 7 words that instantly sent oil traders, global economists, and foreign ministries into emergency mode. The terms aren't good enough yet. Iran, according to Trump himself, is ready to talk, ready to negotiate, ready to end a war that has already killed more than 1,400 people, closed the world's most critical oil lane, and sent crude prices to their highest point since Russia invaded Ukraine in 2002. And Trump said no, not yet. The terms aren't good enough. While he said that, while those words were still echoing across trading floors from New York to Tokyo, U.S. and Israeli warplanes were already in the air bombing Isfahan. Iran's missiles were already in the air hitting Gulf countries. 6 American airmen's names were being released to grieving families. And oil was still sitting above $110 a barrel. So here's the question that nobody on television is asking clearly enough right now. If Iran wants a deal and Trump won't take it, if Israel just told CNN it plans at least 3 more weeks of strikes with thousands of targets remaining, what does that mean for the price of oil? What does it mean for the price of gas at your pump next week? What does it mean for your grocery bill, your retirement account, and whether this war tips the global economy into a recession before summer? I have been going through the documents, the Reuters investigation, the Goldman Sachs research reports, the Bloomberg analysis, and the live statements from both sides since this story broke this morning. Here's what the headlines are missing, and here is why this single rejected deal matters far more than the military story you're being shown on every other channel. Before we go deeper into what Trump actually said, what Iran's real position is behind the scenes, what Israel just revealed about 3 more weeks of bombing, and what Goldman Sachs is now saying about recession risk, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel right now. This story is moving faster than almost anything I have ever covered. Every hour brings a new development, and the next 72 hours will determine whether oil prices stabilize or make their next major move upward. Subscribe notifications on. You'll want to be here when the next piece breaks. Quick context. The war began on February 28, 2026, day 1 of what the U.S. military called Operation Epic Fury. American and Israeli forces launched coordinated strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, missile infrastructure, and military leadership. Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, was killed. His wife, his mother, and his son died in the same strike. His replacement, Mojtaba Khamenei, was installed by the Revolutionary Guards and has been largely out of public sight since. In the 16 days since then, Iran declared the Strait of Hormuz closed. The U.S. destroyed 28 Iranian mine-laying vessels. 6 U.S. airmen were killed in a KC-135 refueling plane crash in western Iraq, bringing total American deaths to 13. At least 1,444 Iranians have been confirmed dead, according to Al Jazeera's live tracker, including hundreds of civilians. Isfahan has been hit repeatedly. Iran has threatened UAE ports and ordered civilian evacuations near 3 of the Gulf's busiest commercial docks. And oil, which was trading at $87 per barrel on February 27th, has already touched $120 and is currently sitting around $110, a 26% increase in 16 days. That is the setup. Now, the documents and the statements, because what happened this morning is where this story takes a turn that most coverage is underplaying. The evidence, the central statement was made today, Sunday, March 15th, in a live phone call between President Donald Trump and NBC News anchor Kristen Welker on Meet the Press. I am quoting directly from the verified transcript released by NBC News. Trump said, Iran wants to make a deal, and I don't want to make it because the terms aren't good enough yet. Then he added, U.S. forces have totally obliterated Iran militarily. And then he said something that has barely been covered. He said he was considering options to mitigate oil prices, which tells you that the administration itself understands the economic damage this war is causing is real, visible, and politically dangerous. But here is what got me. This was not the only statement made about a deal today. Read it alongside what Reuters reported Saturday. Citing a senior White House official, Trump has rebuffed efforts to start ceasefire talks and is focused on pressing ahead with the war. So it is not just that the terms are not right. According to Reuters' own sourcing, Trump has been actively rejecting the attempts to even begin talks. Terms aren't good enough implies negotiation is happening. Rebuffed efforts to start talks means the door is not even open. Then read what Bloomberg reported Sunday. Trump rejects deal with Iran on current terms as war rages on. Bloomberg confirmed no counteroffer has been made, no channel has been formally opened, and no timeline for talks exists. I went through these 3 sourced statements 3 times. The pattern is clear. There is a gap between what Trump is saying publicly on NBC, Iran wants a deal, and what is actually happening according to Reuters and Bloomberg sources. The president is projecting strength and a position of leverage. His own White House is simultaneously confirming that he has refused to even start the conversation. That gap matters enormously for every projection about when this war ends and what oil prices do next. What nobody is covering Now here's the detail buried on page 2 of every article that should be on the front page of every financial publication in the world. Iran's position is not what Trump described. While Trump told NBC that Iran wants to make a deal, Iran's own foreign minister Abbas Araghchi said something completely different. Bloomberg reported Sunday, citing 2 senior Iranian sources, Iran has not asked for a ceasefire and sees no reason for talks with the U.S. The BBC confirmed this directly, citing Iranian statements made today. Iran has not asked for ceasefire and sees no reason for talks with U.S. Iranian minister says. The Jerusalem Post reported Iran's actual ceasefire condition, published Friday. Iran will only agree to a ceasefire if the U.S. and Israel guarantee they will never strike Iran again in the future. That is not a negotiating position. That is a condition no American president could accept publicly without ending his political career. It is structurally designed to be rejected. Read those 3 things together. Trump says Iran wants a deal. Iran says it never asked for one. And Iran's stated condition for any ceasefire is a permanent guarantee of immunity from future American and Israeli military action. There's no deal. There's no deal being discussed. There's no channel through which a deal is being negotiated. What exists is a public narrative from the White House that a deal is possible, and a documentary reality from Reuters, Bloomberg, the BBC, and Iran's own foreign minister that says the opposite. That is not a political observation. That is a factual mismatch between public messaging and sourced reporting. And it is the single most important piece of information for understanding where oil prices go from here. Because oil markets, more than anything else, are pricing in expectation. When the president says a deal is coming, markets relax briefly, prices dip. The BBC documented this exactly. When Trump said the war was very complete, oil and gas prices fell sharply within hours. Then they recovered when the war continued. If the market understands that there is no real deal pathway, right now, that recovery of prices is the baseline, not the exception, the fallout, what already happened today in parallel with Trump rejecting the deal terms, because the juxtaposition is important. While Trump was on the phone with NBC saying he would not accept a deal, the Israeli military told CNN that it is planning at least 3 more weeks of its campaign in Iran with, quote, thousands of targets remaining. IDF spokesperson Brigadier General Effie Dufresne confirmed this on CNN Sunday. 3 more weeks. Thousands of targets. That is not a military winding down. That is a military in the early stages of a campaign it considers still far from complete. U.S. and Israeli aircraft struck Isfahan. Al Jazeera confirmed a barrage of strikes hit multiple sites in the city. A factory strike alone killed at least 15 workers, according to Iranian media. The death toll from U.S.-Israeli strikes, according to the Iranian government's own spokesperson, now stands at confirmed damage to more than 42,000 civilian sites across Iran. Iran threatened the UAE. For the first time since the war began, Iran issued direct warnings to the United Arab Emirates, one of the world's most important commercial shipping hubs, urging residents to evacuate 3 major ports. According to AP, the Associated Press, and France 24, some oil loading operations in Fujairah have already been suspended as a result. Fujairah is the busiest port in the Middle East. It is where thousands of tankers refuel and transfer cargo. Its partial suspension is not a footnote. It is another piece of the global supply chain cracking under the pressure of this war. Pope Leo XIV delivered his strongest public appeal yet this morning, directly addressing those responsible for the war and demanding an immediate ceasefire. He called the violence atrocious and warned that, quote, violence can never lead to the justice, stability, and peace that the people are seeking. When the Pope speaks like this, not in general terms, but directly at the leaders who launched a war, it tells you the international pressure for de-escalation is reaching levels that have not been seen since the early days of the Ukraine invasion. Goldman Sachs cut its U.S. economic outlook this week. Goldman now projects a 25% probability of recession in the next 12 months, a dramatic shift directly attributed to the Iran war. This was reported by MarketWatch and Morningstar on Thursday. And 6 names were released. 6 American airmen killed when their KC-135 refueling aircraft crashed in western Iraq on March 12th. The Pentagon confirmed their identities today. Total U.S. military deaths since Operation Epic Fury began. 13 confirmed service members. Real people, real families, real funerals being planned while this war continues, because the terms are not good enough yet. All of that happened in the same window of time Trump was on the phone telling NBC a deal might be close. The other side, and where they have a point, I want to be fair here because there are real counter-arguments and they deserve honest treatment. The Trump administration's core argument is this. If you negotiate from a position of incomplete military success, you lock in a deal that Iran can later circumvent. The goal, according to National Thailand's reporting on Trump's position, is that any deal must include a permanent resolution of the nuclear issue. Not just a ceasefire, but a commitment that Iran dismantles its nuclear program. If you stop the bombing before that is achieved, Iran rebuilds and you are back here in 5 years. That is a strategically coherent position. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Mike Waltz, said directly on Fox News Sunday that military options for Iran's nuclear program are, quote, focused and targeted, signaling the administration believes it can still achieve a decisive outcome through continued military action. If that assessment is correct, waiting for better terms has a logic. Senator Tom Cotton, a consistent administration ally on Iran, argued that every additional day of strikes degrades Iran's military capacity further, which improves the eventual deal terms. Wait long enough, strike hard enough, and you negotiate from total dominance rather than partial advantage. That is not an irrational position. And there is a third point worth acknowledging. Iran's stated ceasefire condition, a permanent guarantee of no future strikes, is genuinely impossible for any U.S. president to sign. It would mean permanently constraining American military options in the region. Trump rejecting that specific condition is not obstruction of peace. It is a rejection of a condition designed to be rejected. But here is where the counter-argument breaks down. And it is worth saying, clearly, Reuters reported Saturday, citing sources directly inside the White House, that Trump has rebuffed efforts to even start talks, not rejected specific terms, refused to open a channel. Those are different things. Refusing to negotiate at all means there is no information about what Iran might actually accept if the stated impossible condition were removed. It means no back channel is running. It means the war continues with no diplomatic process parallel to the military one. And Israel saying 3 more weeks with thousands of targets is not a step toward resolution. It is a commitment to 3 more weeks of uncertainty for oil markets, global shipping, and the Strait of Hormuz. The economic cost of 3 more weeks is not abstract. I am going to show you exactly what it is. Backstory, how we got here. This did not come out of nowhere. The gap between public deal talk and private rejection has a history. March 4th, Bloomberg reported that Iran's Ministry of Intelligence had quietly reached out to the U.S. to explore the possibility of ending the war. Iran immediately denied it. U.S. officials offered no comment. 2 governments, both of whom claim the other wants to negotiate, both publicly refusing to confirm any contact. That story vanished in 48 hours. March 8th, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi appeared on NBC's Meet the Press directly on the same program where Trump spoke today and said Iran would fight until, quote, the war ends permanently. He did not say Iran wanted a deal. He said Iran would fight. March 11th, Bloomberg reported from intermediaries in the region that Iran's actual ceasefire demand was a guarantee of no future U.S. or Israeli strikes. This condition was communicated through regional intermediaries, not directly. No American official publicly responded to it. March 12th, Trump's administration was still publicly describing the war as nearly complete. Very complete, pretty much, Trump said. Oil fell $4.15 on that statement, then kept going. March 13th, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, and Reuters all published revised economic forecasts acknowledging the war's impact was no longer a short-term spike, but a structural disruption requiring recalibrated projections.